Peace, y'all. What's going on? Want to talk about this NBA protest real quick. This whole thing is crazy, and the reason it's crazy is because the whole Jacob Blake situation, when it happened, or the real outrage started on the day, Kobe Day, 8/24. And the fact that it happened in Kenosha, if you study the name Kenosha, it was happening in Kenosha, Wisconsin. If you study the name Kenosha and really go deep into the roots, the first definition is it is the land of pike. But then if you go to where the native, the indigenous, and if you go deep into the roots of Kenosha, Wisconsin, and deep into the Native American roots, you will find African ancestry. And what they did name Kenosha, the ancient name was Snake. So in magic and spirituality and the occult, the significance of a snake is a snake represents the spinal cord, it represents the spinal column, and it represents the energy that flows through the spinal column, the raising of chi, the raising of vibration, the raising of ra, the raising of prana, energy going up your spine and stimulating the waters within, which is your cerebral spinal fluid, the things that we call emotions. Right? When we're raising our frequency, when we feel inspired, when we feel happy, when we are having an orgasm, when we are doing something that we enjoy, when we are having a laugh, when we are getting a hug, this cerebral spinal fluid, this chi energy, this energy gets stimulated, and what it does is it lights up your chakra system and it sends energy through your chakras, right? So, it's this snake energy is something that has been needed. If you notice, if you go back and rewind to last Monday, what was happening? You had Yo Gotti and Young Dolph beefing, and who else was beefing? You had Angela Stanton, the Republican, beefing with D.L. Hughley. You had My Son kind of going at Akon, talking about 6ix9ine snitching. So you had just a lot of celebrity drama. And just a lot of, you had the Tory Lanez, Megan Thee Stallion. So a lot of celebrity drama, a lot of distractions, a lot of black-on-black distractions to keep you occupied. Now, these NBA players, right? And I'm going to get back to the snake energy and this kundalini energy in a minute, this serpentine energy in a minute. But these NBA players, where are they? Where are they? They are in a bubble. And these NBA players are essentially still under quarantine, right? You and I are moving about. We are able to see our families. We're able to get away from work for a little while. We're able to take a walk someplace else, right? We're able to still take trips if we want. But these NBA players, these multi-millionaires, are stuck inside this bubble, inside this containment unit, and they are essentially still under quarantine. Now, if you remember, the whole George Floyd situation popped off when everyone else was when all of us were on quarantine, right? But the NBA players with their resources, they're able to do different things under quarantine. They have houses that are big as small towns, right? So they're able to do some different things under quarantine than you and I can, right? Based on the resources that they have, based on the money that they make. So because of that, their quarantine was much different than probably the average man and woman. Now, when you're talking about being under quarantine, and then Monday morning strikes, right, and you see these images of Jacob Blake being shot by this officer. Now, whether you think it's a hoax, whatever the case is, that's your business. But the fact is, the situation has been broadcast. And the fact is, American culture and American news goes worldwide. So NBA players are now looking at the hypocrisy of them wearing all these things and talking about Black Lives Matter and still playing an NBA game. This is the shock to the system. This is that snake, that kundalini energy, that energy rising, right? With these players that are now in a bubble and are now, after they play the game, they have to go back under quarantine. So their quarantine rules, they have to basically go back and seclude back into their rooms. So all they have now to do is look at TV, look at the news, and look at Twitter. and look at Instagram and look at Facebook and see all these things that are happening. So now they're having discussions about it. So now this energy is circulating in this bubble, in this containment unit, and now things start to pop. And I just saw a recent thing where they said the Lakers and the Clippers are leaving the NBA. Now, what is this doing? This is having a financial impact on the NBA. Also, the Major League Baseball players, the Milwaukee Brewers, did not play tonight. So this is having a financial impact now on big business, on TNT, on the NBA, on the sponsors. So now, see, the thing about America is America, more than anything, is a business. America is not a country that you talk about freedom, justice, and equality, and all men are created equal and all that constitutional stuff. Bullshit, all right? They have loopholes and they have laws and they have amendments and they ratify the Constitution all the time, right? That's why we're getting spied on by our smartphones all the time, because there's amendments and things that change in the Constitution all the time. So American culture does not abide by their own Constitution. If all men were created equal, this wouldn't even be something to question, right? So we know inherently all men aren't created equal, right? We all have bodies. We all have similar hands, heads, arms, and legs, but we are all different. We are all different. So all men aren't created equal. I don't see myself equal to all men, and neither should you, or women. So the Constitution itself is null and void. So trying to get justice in the legal system is not going to work in a moral, righteous, and direct way. Now, Jacob Blake is one of those sacrifices to remind you to get back on task, right? Get back on your ritual. Get back on your workout. We're about to go into winter season. It's about to get cold. You need to get your berries game up. Your blackberries, your blueberries, your elderberries, your raspberries, right? Get your orange juice, your apple juice. Get your citrus up. Get yourself prepared for these winter months where it's about to get colder, right? Get back on your regimen. Don't sleep, okay? And you have to learn to boycott certain things yourself. That is the spiritual significance of this. You have to learn to boycott certain things yourself. Boycott certain behavior. Boycott certain people on your timeline, on your Instagram and your Facebook and your Twitter timeline. People that just post stress, people that you don't like, people that irritate you, people that cause you pain. Boycott them, all right? Control your stream of consciousness. Don't let the stream on these internet sites control you. Control your stream of consciousness. Also, boycott some of these things that you're eating, that you're putting into your mouth, okay? You're so scared of coronavirus, but you're eating bad every day. Boycott some of these things that you digest. Boycott some of these shows that you digest that mean you nothing, where you don't learn anything from, where you can't develop yourself from, that don't give you anything. Even if I watch a show that's, like if I'm watching something funny or, a boxing match or something, that's different, right? Because I know that's what I'm there for. Basketball, I'm not there to learn anything. Football, I'm not there to learn anything from. But if I'm watching a movie, if I'm watching something on TV, I want to see what I could get out of it, even if I'm just decoding it or deciphering it and looking for the significance of the plot and the myth of the actual show. So I'm getting something and I'm abstracting something from it. So as a collective, those of us who know better, because we know everyone's not meant to walk this path, but those of us that know better, we have to start really tightening up. We have to really start disciplining ourselves. There's 3 planets that are currently in retrograde. Out of the 6 planets, there are 3 planets that are in the constellation of Capricorn that are going retrograde. There is Jupiter in Capricorn, Saturn in Capricorn, and Pluto in Capricorn. These are the planets that are going retrograde. Jupiter, the planet of abundance. right? One of the biggest planet out there in our solar system. Also, there is Saturn, which is ruled by Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Saturn deals with law, order, structure. The rings of Saturn, the rings of Saturn represent the ring that is on the wedding finger. So it deals with law, it deals with order, it deals with contracts, it deals with discipline. Okay? So, and then there is Pluto, which deals with transformation, which deals with death, right? Which we know we're in Corona season, right? People are still dying, unfortunately. So we are in, and these are all retrogrades, all in Capricorn. So these are retrogrades. So these retrogrades and these situations that are popping up, and we know also Uranus is in retrograde. So this is a surprising tale to see the NBA players boycott in the first place. So these retrogrades are all about going within and figuring out what your purpose is. And when you figure out what your purpose is, you're able to stand on principles because you know what path you are walking on. And you are not a conformist. So you don't have to conform to anyone else's path. And you become confident in your own path and how that path looks to you. And you find those that are confident in your path too, that want to see you win. And you build a network with them. And that's how you start business. That's how you start friendships. That's how you start a soul family. So when I look at the NBA boycott, I look at also the things that I have to boycott, the things that I have to change, the things that I have to adjust. Because you can learn from everything. Okay? So the reason this happened is because the NBA players are trapped in this bubble. Okay? They're not able to move around and communicate like they did, like they were, and enjoy the luxuries that they have. I mean, the game before, NBA player Paul George said he was depressed. So he was in a dark place just yesterday. And again, this whole thing happened or started bubbling on Kobe Day, 8/24. And check out the spiritual significance, the numerology. The Lakers were up. The Lakers were playing the Clippers. The Lakers were up on Monday night, 24-8. So the fact that the players chose to boycott right after this happened, the name Ganesha translated means snake. What is Kobe dealing with? A Mamba mentality. A Mamba mentality. What is the Mamba mentality? The Mamba mentality ultimately is about doing for self and being your greatest self. How many elders, from Martin to Malcolm to Dr. Ben to Ivan Van Sertima to Medgar Evers to Steve Biko. I mean, how many people have died and sacrificed in the quest of those that were born in this avatar, melanated, to start to wake up and start to do for self and start to create for self? How many Elijah Muhammads have to come along? How many Marcus Garveys have to come along? How many ancestors have to live and die for us to get the message? So this is a game that has to be played. And honestly, if I was a person to counsel any NBA player, I wouldn't even tell nobody to really talk to the media and not say much. Just like they did, just pop up with a boycott. And not too much talking. I would tell the NBA players also to get to Dr. Claude Anderson. And I've read Dr. Amos Williams' Black Power as well. I've read works by Manning Marable on the subject of black nationhood, on the subject of black economics, on the subjects of black liberation. I've read books by Angela Davis on this subject as well. And to me, the best person that is qualified, if you are dealing, if as far as living on this earthly realm, right, and being a spiritual warrior, right, you have to have an understanding of what nationhood looks like and what kingdomhood looks like and what that plan looks like to you. You can't say, okay, just tear down the government, burn down Babylon, and then what, right? What type of system are you erecting to replace Babylon? Have you really thought about that? Or are you just emotional? So we have to really start thinking about how we're going to affect this power structure. And to me, Dr. Claude Anderson has the best plans on how to affect it now. And then the NBA players need to do that. And one of the things he speaks about is basically purchasing a candidate, basically backing the candidate financially, using financial power to back certain candidates and make these candidates do what you want, right? Create lobbyists. If you're going to be in this system, then play the game, right? Play the game, but play the game right. Master P, I remember reading an article back in the day in The Source, and Master P, in order to get his businesses, right, to get his these office buildings, it might have been in a documentary too, I'm not sure, the recent documentary on BET, the No Limit documentary. But Master P said that he had a white person. He hired a white person to go by the buildings, and then they just moved in, right? He hired a white person to basically buy the buildings, and then he moved in. So you have to kind of come in like a Trojan horse, right? You have to Trojan horse. Armed revolution was tried by the Panthers. Malcolm X, the ancestor Malcolm X, he laid the foundation for the Black Panthers. And the Black Panthers basically are the offspring or the children of Malcolm X philosophies. And you see what happened to them. All right? And you see the NFAC is out here. But, again, you got to learn from history or you will repeat the same mistakes. That's all I'm going to say on that. So, this charge of energy, these things that are happening, and now that this has affected America financially, because America is a business, first and foremost, now that this energy has hit the planet, how are you going to harness this for your benefit? How are you going to ride this wave? Because this is affecting the planet worldwide. This NBA thing, this Major League Baseball, this thing is worldwide. This boycott is big. Many people lost money tonight. Many companies lost money tonight. Many sponsors are pissed tonight. And if it continues, if the Lakers and Clippers really aren't going to play, many more sponsors are going to be pissed. The NBA is going to lose money. Okay? So these cops fucked up a lot of bread. And America is about finance. It's about currency. It's about business. It's about capitalism, first and foremost. The only time I've ever seen America bend to is when I saw Serena, I think I said this, but Serena and Venus in either North or South Carolina, they refused to play tennis because the Confederate flag was up, and because that Confederate flag was up, they tore that they boycotted, and then they took it down. And now this is a whole new arena. NBA players are not qualified to speak on social issues, really. NBA players are studying on how to dribble, how to get through screens, how to get through pick and rolls, how to run plays. That's what occupies the majority of their day. The intellectuals, the speakers, those who know, those are the people who have to speak. And those are the people who NBA players should back financially. So you need sponsors. Even the Black Panthers. Do you know Marlon Brando and Bette Midler were sponsoring the Panthers, the Black Panther Party, financially? Because movements need money, not emotions, not cheers, not hashtags. Movements need money behind them. And one thing NBA players do have is financials. They have money. It just is what it is, dealing with this world on this earthly plane and looking at the situation for what it is. But now you have to reflect these things also back on your own life and see what you need to boycott. Have you been caught up in this internet drama? Have you been rocked back to sleep? You know, it's warm. You know, coronavirus is still out there, but people are a little more lax. People are slipping back into bad habits. And this is not just for y'all, this is for myself. And there's a lot of things that are happening where people are separating, people are getting together, people are going through ups and downs, people are moving, people are losing money, people have lost money, people are struggling. And then there's all these riots as well. Portland, Chicago the other day, right? Wisconsin, Monday, Tuesday, today. China is beefing with India. They might go to war. Africa, Zimbabwe, they're shooting protesters, and they're on lockdown. We know what's happening in America, South America. There's food shortages, starvation, and people are on lockdown. Hong Kong, they're protesting China. And there's a lot that's going on, not just in America, but worldwide, where people are protesting, where people have had enough. So the wave is about transformation. The wave is preparing for the next 10 years of your life. 2021 is the new year, for real, for real. Are you prepared? Are you prepared if the currency transforms to digital currency? Are you prepared to support yourself if there is no job out there? Are you prepared to create a job? Do you have an alternate means of income right now besides your job? Are you creating means of income? Are you a creator or are you a complainer? It's either one or the other. Because God loves the creators the most. God loves people who create the most. Whatever your role is, whatever you're placed here on this planet to do, whatever your avatar body, whatever your body, whatever your ba, your spirit, your ba, as the Kemites say, came into your body, that breath of life, your soul, your Ra, that heartbeat that you have, whatever it came here to do. Use this time, use this 2020 to get clear vision, 2020 vision about it. Use this time period for transformation. Use this time period for your own boycotts. And also use this time period for atonement as well. Those who you feel you have done wrong, or those who you have done wrong. There's nothing wrong with atonement. You walk around with a lighter heart. Because we are in the era, the quantum era. Quantum, from the word quanta means light. So quantum physics is light physics. The quantum realm is the light realm. So this is the age of the light bearer. The Commission said they want your heart to be as light as a feather in order to enter the heavens. That means you are sensitive and receptive to the universe and your place in it. That means you are in a state of oneness with the universe. And the way you do that is tapping into your zodiac, tapping into your soul with breath work, meditation, yoga, exercise, tapping into your ancestry, your DNA, through studying your ancestors, through honoring your ancestors, through going to your altars, to creating your altars, whatever they may be, however extravagant or however small they may be. Right? And creating and making your living space a temple. Your main rooms, and having art, and having items, statues that support your growth, waterfalls in your room or your sacred spaces. When you come in, you feel a flow of energy. Art, your deities. Things that put you when you go in your home is actually a place of peace. And if you don't have a home, or if you don't have your own personal space, you can make your cell phone screensavers something that puts you in your state of peace, or something that honors the deity that you're working with at that time, or the thing that you want to eliminate in your life. So we are still in the corona upgrade. It is still time to raise our vibration. It is still time to raise our frequency. It is still time for us to dig deep into ourselves and move toward our purpose, whatever they may be. Whatever brings you the most joy in life. Whatever is your dream. And also be practical. Find ways to create sources of income. Study Bitcoin, study Forex, study the stock market. Use YouTube as a university. Bobby Hemmett is great, but if you can't pay your bills, it's going to be hard to keep on the internet to watch Bobby Hemmett. So you got to be practical as well. We live in an earthly realm, even though we are spiritual beings. Okay? So, the abundance mindset is not only dealing with riches, it's not only dealing with coins. The abundance mindset is also a mindset where you're dealing with the abundance of self, the abundance of knowledge, the abundance of wisdom, and the abundance of understanding, and the abundance of spiritual power. And how you master the spiritual power is by going within to find solutions to your problems, by contacting your ancestors, what people call spirit guides, by listening to the voices in your head and getting in tune with your internal instincts. And that's that heart being light as a feather. Where that stress and that worry gets transmuted and utilized as energy to fuel solutions and ideas. You may have had an ancestor who was a carpenter, an ancestor who did algebra, an ancestor who was a scientist, an ancestor who flew planes, an ancestor who was a warrior. That's why it's very important to meditate. That's why it's very important to become disciplined. That's why it's very important to have ritual in your life. That's why it's very important to honor your ancestors, to create some sort of altar so that you could be in remembrance of your ancestors and they will continue to guide you. Your ancestors aren't spooks in the sky. Your ancestors live within your DNA. This is scientific fact. Even if you don't believe in any spirituality. We are in this 2020 world where the material world and so-called white supremacy is falling apart, piece by piece by piece, little by little by little. And it's been slowly since the death of Trayvon Martin. So these sacrifices of these men continually being slaughtered will unfortunately continue until we start to get it together, until we start to do for self, still we start to tap in to the words that our ancestors said and utilize them, not just for speeches, not just to talk about battling white supremacy. So we want to talk about Marcus Garvey and Harriet Tubman when we're talking about battling white supremacy, or we're talking about building some school. But how about learning from these people, learning from Fannie Lou Hamer, learning from John Brown and Harper's Ferry in Virginia, learning these lessons of the first black bank and how it was robbed, learning these lessons of societies that have thrived. These are the things we have to really understand and really get in tune with. And it's not about even a collective, so to speak. It's not about everybody, so-called, getting to the promised land. It's about you getting to whatever your promised land is. And once you get to where your promised land is, now you could help others. Now you could build with others. Now you have something to offer. Now you have something to bring to the table. More than complaints, more than bitching, more than moaning about problems. Solutions. For instance, you shouldn't defund the police. That's a dumbass idea. Police is necessary. This is a crazy world. Okay, everybody doesn't have guns. And if everybody doesn't live in a place where you can have guns legally and easily, then there's going to be chaos without police. And even if that is the case, it's still going to be turned into the Wild Wild West. So it's not about defunding police. What it's about is changing the law so that police get prosecuted for using excessive force. So they don't have carte blanche to kill at will, because the way the law is set up is that police, as long as they feel that they are threatened, they could kill. So that's what needs to change. That's the exact pressure that that's the exact thing that needs to happen. That's what the pressure needs to be put on. This law being changed. Solution. Not bitching. And I'm no better than anybody. And this is also the things that we have to do in our life, as painful and as unpleasant they may be. Deep dive within our lives. That's why meditation, that's why silence, that's why certain frequencies, listening to isochronic tones, listening to binaural beats, theta waves, gamma waves, in order to tune your mind, listening to 33 hertz Christ consciousness, in order to tune your mind into your higher self, tapping into your spiritual abilities, your psychic abilities, your clairvoyant abilities, your clairaudient abilities, your ability to sense through touch, your ability to see and read people in water, right? Some of y'all have powers that you have come here with. You just have to rediscover. And the only way you rediscover is to dig within your own treasures of darkness. But it comes from you going within that shadow and embracing your shadow. And last but not least, when you are going into these battles, don't go into these spiritual battles like no pussy. Don't go into handling your problems like no pussy. Right? The deity Set, which is where Satan comes from. The deity Set, which is where Satan comes from, was a deity that Cometians, the ancient Egyptians, used when they went to war. When I go to the gym, I'm not listening to no R&B, no soft music. I don't want to hear Talib Kweli, Public Enemy, Common, or none of that. All I want to hear is gangster, hardcore, aggressive, kill 'em music, because there's a time and place for everything. You need that extra aggression when you're in the gym to pump them weights or to hit that treadmill or whatever you're doing. So don't be afraid to tap into your dark side. Don't be afraid to tap into that part of you that is needed to address certain issues externally and internally. because you need that warrior in you as well to address certain issues. You need that set energy in you to address certain issues. That quote-unquote demonic energy that people are scared of, but people display every day. Some people display it to waiters. Some people display it to their children. Some people display it to customers. It's true or not. So, peace to the NBA players, people who say it's not doing anything. You don't understand how America works. America's business. And this is going to have an impact. This is going to have an impact. And you will see the residue trickle off from this. And it's just going to get more intense. So get prepared. Be wise. Stay vigilant. Get your health up. Your citrus, your berries, your alkaline water. If you can't afford alkaline water, get some lemons and put it in your water. And that'll alkaline your water. You can even get lemons, some brown sugar, and some water, and make lemonade. Alkaline lemonade. Alkaline water. You can make lemonade like that. Get your health up. Do some. If you're in the house, it's okay. Do some push-ups. Do some jogging in place. Right? Do some home workouts. Walk around your block. Take walks. Okay? Get your health right. Flu season is coming up. It's going to get cold. And also guard your grill, because it's going to get darker soon. Okay? We're going to get less and less daylight as the time passes. It's going to get dark soon. So the goons are going to come out. People don't have money. People are struggling. So you need your protection. You need to be in tune with your universe. You need your ancestral guides to guide you through this time period. You need to tap into your DNA resources to be able to utilize what you need to utilize when you need to utilize it, and tap into your energy. Tap into your light and your darkness. Utilize them for what they're utilized for. The darkness is for war, the light is for peace. That's how you ride that middle pillar. Peace, power, and prosperity. Rob Blackstorm out.